for September 8th, 2023. Quite a few of the litigants for our calendars are appearing via Zoom. So I'm just going to go over some of the ground rules with regards to appearing via Zoom. First of all, although it's a virtual court, it is still a formal court proceeding. So I expect you to be dressed appropriately. I expect you to be seated and not walking around, please. When you are moving around with the Zoom video in front of us, it's not only very distracting, but it interrupts with the recording of the proceeding as well. So if you need to be seated, do so immediately. You're not supposed to be driving. If I notice that any of the Zoom panels individuals are driving, they will be removed from the Zoom immediately. All right. And also if you are an attorney, a defendant, please make sure that your video is on and that your audio is on mute. I'm going to go through 3 of our different calendars this morning. I have an add-on calendar, a final plea calendar, a show cause calendar. Oh, there's a 4th one, the status calendar as well, which is right here. If you hear your name called, please unmute your audio, or if you're in the courtroom, please stand up and loudly indicate that you are present. On my add-on calendar, I have April Garrett. April Garrett.
Good morning, Judge. Patrice Helen with the Public Defender's Office. Just making sure my video. Awesome, Judge. I believe all of the cases on the add-on calendar are mine, Judge, because they are under the name of April Garrett, Judge. I believe those cases were recently added, so I don't believe that there is either a global resolution being offered by the state yet, as of yet in those cases. And also, Judge, I haven't received the initial discovery in those 3 additional cases, Judge. So we're just asking.
Where's April Garrett?
Judge, I believe she should be on the Zoom link. If not, Judge, just give me a short moment to get her presence here this morning, Judge.
All right, let's wait for her to appear. And there's the issue of discovery and a possible global offer. Who's the prosecutor in this case?
Good morning, Your Honor. That would be me.
All right, Ms. Githia. We'll wait for Ms. Garrett to appear, and then perhaps you can respond to those 3 requests.
Okay.
2 requests, discovery and a global offer. Okay?
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. On my show cause calendar, I have 8 cases. Let's begin with Tanya Combs. Tanya Combs. Mr. Haddad?
These are 1:30.
Oh, is it
I
1:30?
was trying to just 1:30.
No. You're right. Good. That's okay. I have, okay. Let me just go into the show cause calendar. My final plea is also at 1:30, but I've got a couple of pleas here already. For Rico Roland, Paul Keister, and Frederico Williams. Either of these individuals present? Rico Roland, Paul Keister, and Frederico Williams.
Yes, Judge. Rico Rowland is my case, Your Honor. I believe he's there in person, and we are prepared to accept that plea today, Judge.
Is Rico Roland present? That's the final plea, but I can hold off on that. Okay?
Understood, Judge.
Your Honor, the Frederico Williams is my case. Well, it's Rosenhover's. That's ready, but he's coming in at 1:30.
Okay, just want to be sure. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
And Judge Law, good morning. This is Carlos Rodriguez. I represent Kyle Smith. He's on a final plea calendar this morning. We signed up the paperwork in August.
What was your client's name?
Kyle Smith.
Okay, is he set for 9 a.m. today?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I will,
He's on the status calendar, Judge, position 26.
26. And is he on Zoom or in person?
He's on Zoom.
Okay.
I'm here, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. All right, let me go ahead and go through this. Marcia Anariva Ramos. Marcia Anariva Ramos.
Yes, ma'am, I'm right here.
All right, who's your attorney?
Mr. Mozzie, but I'm not sure if it's online.
All right, you might want to call him and find out where he is. Centricia Cobb. Centricia Cobb.
Your Honor, I'm making the announcement for Ms. Rosenhover. Ms. Cobb, I did expect her to be here. There are still I think some pending videos, but we can reset it for the final plea calendar.
Okay, but where is she?
I don't know, Judge. I'll.
I'm Miss Cobb. I'm on the Zoom.
All right, please put your video on.
According to the LOA, that's not valid for paying vacation.
Okay, that's fine, but Mr. Haddad is announced. Yeah. Ms. Cobb, your video needs to be on. Hello? Centricia Cobb. Okay, we don't know where she is. Darius Culbrecht.
Good morning, Judge. That is my case. Is Mr. Colbreth on Zoom?
Yeah, is the diversion
I received an email yesterday, Judge, from Diversion that he is not compliant. And so I forwarded Mr. Colbreth the email. I have not had a chance to speak with him, so I asked that you at least give me an opportunity to call him.
Darius Culbrecht? Darius Culbrecht, good time to let me know you're present on Zoom. All right, we don't know where he is. Terrell Davis, I think I've got a plea in absentia for that.
Plea in absentia, never been happy
Okay.
to have.
Ms. Githia, we have the plea in absentia from Defense Counsel. Ms. Waldrop has looked over the documents. I'm going to take the plea. Do you have any objections to me accepting the plea and releasing counsel?
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, so if you'd like to just provide that to Mr. Randolph.
Thank you, Judge. And I'll make you a favor because of the nature of what I got going on with this case.
Mm.
Once you sign off on that, can I take that file and go ahead and pay that fine right now?
Give me a moment, and then the expediency will depend upon Ms. Bolton and Mr. Randolph. Okay.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you.
Mr. Randolph, here it is, and both are signed, and as soon as you get a stamp file copy, you're free to go and get the fine paid and case is closed.
That's the way over here.
That'll be fine. Thank you. Okay. Mr. Rodriguez, you have position number 26, and that was with Carl Smith. Okay. Attorney Ashley Chevron, who is your client?
Good morning, Judge. My client is Mr. Larry Nguyen. He is present on Zoom. We are ready for a plea. I believe all paperwork has been turned in.
Okay. As soon as I get the paperwork, we can proceed with that case. And I did see that matter ready for a plea. Position 16. Okay. Mr. Jeff Dickerson, who's your client?
Yes, Your Honor. I have Sean Young.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning.
Mr. Young is on.
Mr. Young, what is the announcement for your client?
Yes, Your Honor. So we are accepting the state's plea offer, but we'd be asking that it be placed on a final plea calendar to allow him time to complete the special conditions. He lives up in New Jersey, and we want to have everything complete when we enter the plea.
All right, the case is reset to November 3rd at 1:30 p.m. Final plea calendar.
Thank you,
You've
Judge.
already got the offer. I'm assuming you have the documents also that have been sent to you to be DocuSigned.
I don't believe I do have actual plea documents. I don't know that I've communicated to the state that we were accepting the offer before now,
Okay.
but I will reach out to them and make sure we have that.
Ms. Githia, is that your case?
It's actually my case, Judge, and yes, we did not receive notice that he was accepting the offer, but I'll get those documents over.
Okay. You have counsel's email?
Can you give it to me, Mr. Dickerson?
Mr. Dickerson, I know you don't see Ms. Waldrop on the screen, but we're just having a few video issues in the courtroom. But
Sure.
the prosecutor is Angela Waldrop.
Okay, I know, Ms. Waldrop. So should I send that through chat or just give it to you verbally?
On the chat will be fine. She's, are you
I-
on the Zoom as well
I'm
on your
not, so I
laptop?
can't access the chat.
Okay, go ahead and, tell all of us what your email
Okay,
address
it's
is.
easy enough. It's just Jeff, Jeff, at thedickersonfirm.com.
Okay, thank you.
Your Honor, if I may, can I have the date go past November 3rd so I can just have enough time to organize all these items I needed to take care of? It's a few different things.
What are the conditions that need to be completed?
It's all of the standard DUI conditions, Judge. He's going to have to do the risk reduction course, 40 hours of community service, alcohol and drug evaluation, victim impact panel.
I'll schedule it for November 3rd because I don't have the later date presently. And if council, if you need additional time, please reach out to your lawyer. And by then, we should have the next following date. And then we'll just
Understood.
forward it accordingly.
Perfect. Thank you,
Understood.
Judge.
Thank you.
All right?
Have a
Okay,
good
so
day.
presently it's November 3rd at 1:30 p.m. and you are free to leave. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. Have a good day.
You too. Mr. Salata, good morning, sir. Who's your client?
Good morning, Your Honor. My client is George Wadraska Duran.
George, spell the last name.
Wodraskadurran.
All right, position 31. And what's the, how you're moving forward with regards to Mr. Wadraska?
Your Honor, we're on a staff counter. We had negotiations with the previous Assistant Solicitor General, and we came to a resolution. This past week, I got an email from Ms. Waldrop with alternate. She was going to check with the previous Assistant Solicitor and confirm our agreement.
And confirm your what?
Our plea offer from last July.
Okay. Ms. Waldrop, if you can reach the microphone.
Yes, Judge, that is correct. And I did reach out to ASG Stevens, I think, who was awaiting some insurance documentation from Defense Counsel, which he did send yesterday. So that case is currently being reviewed by a supervisor. I would just ask for one more reset so that we can resolve it.
Okay. Did you hear that, Mr. Salata? It's still under review with the documents that were submitted and they're asking for a reset. Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, I'll reset it to the November 3rd final plea calendar at 1:30 p.m. And if your client accepts the offer or whatever offer is made, please make sure that you ask Ms. Waldrop to send you the plea documents. They do that through the DocuSign procedure now.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Judge. We did accept the plea offer previously, but we haven't tendered the plea yet. I'm sure Ms. Waldrop will.
Okay.
We'll figure it together.
All
Thank
right.
you. I
We
did
will see you November 3rd.
November 3rd, 1:30, Your Honor.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
That going to be another status calendar?
I beg your pardon?
That will be another status calendar, correct?
No, it'll be the final plea calendar.
Okay. All right.
All right. I'll see you then. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You have a good one.
You too.
Mr. Steve Atkins, are you counsel or a witness or a defendant? All right. Elizabeth Rainwater, are you counsel or?
Good morning, Judge. I am counsel for Miss Raven Sheriff, and she is present on this Zoom.
All right.
I can give the court an update as to the status. I was able to connect with ASG Waldrop this morning.
Could you give me your client's name again, please?
Yes, Judge. Her name is Raven Sheriff.
Spell the last name?
It's position 24, Judge.
24. Okay. And what's the status?
Miss Sheriff's case was submitted for diversion, and I believe the diversion form is still pending review. And we were going to request for a reset as the diversion form is still pending at this time.
Has she been accepted to the diversion program or is she being reviewed for acceptance for qualification?
Reviewed for acceptance, Judge.
Right.
That is correct, Judge.
And have you all made the decision?
We have not heard back from the diversion department as to acceptance, so we're just awaiting that.
I'm resetting the case to the final plea calendar at 1:30 PM on November 3rd.
Thank you, Judge. May Ms. Sheriff and I be excused?
Yes, if the diversion is not accepted, make sure that you follow up to see if they have an offer. Otherwise, and with the offer, you can make a determination and see whether your client wants to take the plea or have a trial.
Yes, Judge.
All right,
Thank you.
November 3rd at 1:30. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm looking for the attorneys and I'm,
Morning,
you know.
Judge.
There you go.
Looks like you may be looking for lawyers, so I figured I'd hop on.
All right, Mr. Mitnick, yes, sir. And who's your client?
Maggie Zutz, and she's on the Zoom, Judge.
Spell the last name.
SZUTZ.
Position 28. Yes, sir.
And
And
this case is with Miss Waldrop.
yes, sir.
And Miss Waldrop did send me discovery and an offer earlier this week. We have been playing email tag since, but we've not yet been able to speak. And so I actually left her a voicemail this morning as well. Just hoping that she and I can chat briefly. And if I know we're set for status today, if nothing else, just reset it for a final plea calendar. And she and I can get together before then and see if we can get this resolved.
All right. Ms. Waldrop, is there a plea offer?
There is, Judge. We did,
Okay.
I did send that over and he is correct. We just have not been able to get each other on the phone to discuss it.
Reset November 3rd at 1:30 PM for a final plea. And if the plea offer is accepted, please make sure you get the documents and have them, you know, I'm using the word DocuSign as a verb now, so.
I understand, Judge. And then Ms. Waldrop, I did send you an email this morning with a document. I know you're very busy today, but maybe next week you and I can chat and see if we can get this wrapped up.
Sure.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Mitnick. Have a good day weekend. Thank
Good
you.
to see you, Judge. Is Ms. Zutz excused?
Yes, thank
Thank
you.
you, Judge.
Are there any other private counsel whom I've not addressed? Ms. Adams?
Sean McElhenney, Judge. Sorry.
Oh,
Good morning.
okay.
Good morning, Your Honor. Jennifer Adams on behalf of Nyetta McNeil. She is on the Zoom call. Judge, we just received the video yesterday in this case.
What's your client's last name again, please?
McNeil, McNeal.
13. Okay, sorry, I have to get to the right page.
That's
And
okay.
Mr. McElhinney, you're next on deck, okay? Yes. And I'll repeat that you've not received discovery?
No, ma'am. I just received the video yesterday. I received it from Ms. Gathia, and we've been discussing the case. I would just ask for a one-time reset. I'm not sure whether or not the video will require us to file some motions. So that's why I just didn't want to miss out on a motions date if possible.
I'm going to put your case on the motions calendar. That's going to be November 16.
Okay. And obviously before then, if we can't, if we don't have anything, we'll reach out to the state and to the court.
Okay, well, on November 16th, that's going to be at 9 AM. And if you, that would have to be in person.
Yes, ma'am.
And of course, if y'all decide not to, you need to file your motions in a timely manner. And of course, if you decide that you don't want to address it in a motions calendar, or if you want to instead take a plea, you can still appear on November 16th to take a plea.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'll
Thank
see
you
you
so-
then. Thank
Yes,
you.
thank you.
Mr.
Ms. Neal-
McKilney, yes, thank you.
Yes, Judge.
Your client's last name, please?
Rivera, first name is Manuela, and she's on the call. We texted this morning, and I know she's got the information and was going to be on the call.
All right, that's
Um,
position 22. Yes, sir.
So this is a DUI case. I've received the discovery with the exception of the breath test result. I've already reviewed the video that was provided to me. And my client's recollection is that the breath test result was under 0.08 and the breath test result is not included in the discovery. However, it's mentioned that she was taken to the station and given a breath test. So wanted to see if I could get with the state, maybe have a reset and have the state look into that issue about trying to secure that breath test result.
I'll reset the case to November 3rd on the final plea calendar. And depending on the outcome of this particular discovery, y'all can decide if you want to take a plea or go to trial.
Who the assistant solicitor who's assigned to the case, can I have that solicitor's name and email, and maybe I can also just follow up with them to see if they're able to to secure the report?
With whom should he communicate? Ms.
Your
Waldrop or
Honor,
Ms.?
I was handling that case. I did send him an email. It's Angela Waldrop.
Angela. Okay, Angela. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Great. All right. And you said November 3rd, right, Judge?
November 3rd, 1:30 PM.
All right, we'll be there. Maybe we be excused, Judge?
Yes, thank you.
Thanks. Yep.
Hello, Judge.
Yes, counsel, good morning. If you just hold, please, I was going to go to Mr. Mazi Mazlum. Mr.
Yes,
Mazlum?
ma'am.
Your Honor.
Yes, your client is present.
She is.
Ana Riva Ramos.
That's correct, Judge.
And what is the update, sir?
Yes, Judge. I had some discovery issues. I'm the second attorney. Those issues have been resolved. I just received an offer from the state. I need some time to continue to negotiate this and hopefully come with a better announcement next time, please.
Yes, sir. Final plea calendar, November 3rd at 1:30 PM.
And will that be
And
via Zoom as well, Judge?
Yes, and if you all decide to take the plea, please make sure that the documents are signed and submitted before that date.
Will do, Your Honor. And just to confirm, November 3rd at 1:30.
Correct.
Thank you. May we be excused.
Yes, thank you.
Have a great day.
You too. Thank you. Yes, counsel with iPhone.
Yes, Judge. Good morning. My name is Ray Lale. My client's last name is Nitful, Ntiful. She's on the Zoom call.
Okay, position 18 and Mr. Lale. Yes, sir.
Yes,
What
ma'am.
is your announcement?
Yes, Miss Waldrop and I have been communicating. We just need some more time to try to work this case out. So the final plea on November 3rd would be acceptable.
All right, it's November 3rd at 1:30 PM. And if the plea is finalized, please make sure that the documents are signed and submitted before that date.
Yes, ma'am. And that's all I have today.
All right, thank you, Mr. Lale. You're free to go.
Thank you.
Are there any other private attorneys on the Zoom?
Yes, Judge.
right.
Robert Springer, in place of Thomas Flugum, he represents Bryant Hill Holyfield. We have not been able to establish contact with this client. We appeared a couple months ago. It was a 2-year-old, 3-year-old case. And I believe we asked for some additional time to try to locate Mr. Holyfield. We've sent emails, made phone calls to all of our known phone numbers for him. We've not been able to reestablish contact with Mr. Holyfield.
Okay, I've got Bryant Hill, who I'm not familiar with the name that you are referencing.
But that's the same individual, Your Honor.
Okay. Who's the prosecutor in this matter?
That is my case, Your Honor. And the state does request a bench warrant. He also failed to appear on July 14th.
That's what I was recollecting, that we've had a prior failure to appear on this one. Any response to the request for a bench warrant? Mr. Springer?
No, Your Honor, we understand the state's position. We did previously ask for some additional time to try to get in touch with Mr. Hill, and we're unable to do so.
Right. A bench warrant will issue for position 11 on the DUI is going to be $1,000. That's the DUI less safe. The remaining charges are going to be $500 each. So 1, 2, 3. So that should be $3,000 surety bond. And
Understood, Judge.
he will respond to that accordingly. Thank you. You're free to
Thank
go,
you, Judge.
Mr. Springer. Okay. Any other private counsel cases? No? Okay.
Judge, there was, in the chat, Mr. Steve Atkins. Yeah, he states, you called me, I'm an attorney for Amanda T. Frompong, I think that's position 17.
All right.
He says, I cannot get my audio working. I would like a reset to a motion scale on November 16th. But that's in the chat.
And yes, counsel, you have your point. Okay.
Counsel for Miguel Marin.
All right, just give me a moment. Mr. Atkins, I'm going to reset your client's case to November 16. That's the motions calendar. That's at 9 a.m. And that's an in-person proceeding. So you and your client would have to be in court in courtroom G33 at 136 Prior Street. All right, thank you. You're free to go. Thank heavens for chat. Okay. Council, okay. Yes, I did hear, it was Marina
Miguel Marin.
Miguel Marin. Oh, okay, position 12. And yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, for some reason, I will just make this announcement. We are not virtual because I did not receive notice. Client is his primary language is Spanish. I am going to check with the clerk's office to figure out what happened with my notice. But we are here today, and I would like an opportunity if the state has the availability to pre-try this. However, if we could be stepped down on the motions calendar, we have filed motions to suppress on this matter. It is a DUI, and so we anticipate moving forward, but I would, of course, like the opportunity to talk with the assigned prosecutor. I'm not even sure who it is at this point.
It's either Ms. Waldrop or Ms. Githia.
Ms. Githia.
Ms. Githia is on Zoom.
She is, okay.
Yeah, it's Sarita Githia. Githia.
Why? Okay.
IEYA.
IEYA. Okay. Yeah. And I'm sorry, what was the question?
I was trying to get her email address. She has it.
Yes, we're gonna write it down for you and give that to you shortly. And then you're gonna go check with the clerk's office with regards to your notice. And I can reset this to November 16th, motions calendar at 9 a.m. And this will be in person, and we will need a Spanish interpreter at that time.
And Ms. Jennings, I did send you an email on yesterday. So my email address and phone number are in that email.
Okay, yes. I didn't pay attention to who it came from, but I did receive it yesterday.
All right, so we good then?
Yes, we are.
And
November
Judge Law,
16th?
there's an interpreter on here, just in case.
Are you planning to address the court?
We can understand each other enough. I
Okay.
just want to make sure he's clear about the legal proceedings.
The client and the attorney can understand each other, so we're going to meet the interpreter on November 16th as well. Thank you.
And what time was that, Your Honor?
9 a.m. in person.
Would I be getting a notice or I'm free? Excuse me.
You will definitely get notice, but you might want to check this with the clerk's office why there's a hiccup.
Yes,
Okay, thank you. And it's on the first floor. You'll see the directions.
thank you.
All right, thank you. Ms. Chauncey, I know you're here for a case, and I believe that's for Mr. Rodriguez client. Is that correct, Mr. Rodriguez?
Señor Rodríguez.
Attorney Carlos Rodriguez. Does
Yes,
your
ma'am.
client need a Spanish interpreter or?
He does not.
You know, so somebody needed it, so, oh, it was for Estefany Gutierrez. Position number 9, Estefany Gutierrez.
Estefany Gutierrez.
There's someone in court, Judge.
Oh, there's someone in the courtroom, okay. Are you Miss Gutierrez?
¿Es usted, señor Gutiérrez?
You do not need a Spanish interpreter. Okay, all right. Is there anyone on the Zoom panel that needs a Spanish interpreter to assist with understanding the proceedings?
¿Hay alguien en el panel de Zoom que necesite la asistencia de una intérprete en español para entender el proceso?
Is there anyone in the courtroom that needs the assistance of a Spanish interpreter?
¿Hay alguien en la sala que necesite la asistencia de un intérprete en español?
Okay. Ms. Chauncey, thank you so very much for spending some time with us, but you're free to go.
You're welcome. My pleasure, Your Honor. Have a good
Thank
day.
You too. Thank you. All right. Mr. Haddad, who are your clients, please?
Your Honor, I'm covering for Ms. Rosenhoover. I have position number 2, Ms. Cobb, which I don't know. Yeah, the video's on.
Okay.
Position number 2. We're still, I believe, missing video, looking into video, but anyway, reset it for a final plea date, Judge. I guess the 3rd.
And do y'all have a offer to discuss with the client?
We have an offer. We don't have a video, so
Okay.
I can't really,
Ms. Githia, is there a video that's still on the way?
Yes, we are awaiting a response from the agency regarding the videos.
Okay, so this is reset to November 3rd at 1:30 p.m.
Thank you, Judge.
And that's going to be a final plea calendar. All right, Ms. Cobb, your next court date is November 3rd at 1:30 p.m. I'm going to require you to come down in person.
Okay.
All right, thank you. You're free to go now. Thank you.
The next position I have is position number 14, Chusta Moon. Is Chusta Moon on?
1414, okay. All right. Shasta Yvonne Moon, are you in the courtroom?
They're
I'm
present,
present.
Judge.
I'm present, Your Honor.
All right, I see you. Thank you.
We're requesting a final plea date, Judge. I think the recommendation, we either just got it or we'll be getting it soon. There's some MH issues, Judge, so Ms. Rosenhoover needed some time to speak to Ms. Moon, but a final plea date would be great, Judge. And perhaps in person.
Ms. Moon, your next court date is going to be November 3rd at 1:30 p.m.
Okay, just a moment here. Then November the 3rd.
At 1:30 p.m.
Okay.
Your attorney is Sarah Rosenhoover.
Mhm. Okay. I got that information. Thank you.
And you need to be in court in person.
Okay.
In courtroom G33 at 136 Prior Street.
Okay, got it.
All right. Any other questions?
No, Your Honor.
All right, you're free to go. Thank you.
Yeah.
Next case, Ms. Haddad.
Position number 19, Ariel Plaza. Judge, that individual was accepted into the diversion. We just need to complete the paperwork. I would ask for a reset date, perhaps after November 3rd, just to, what are we, September? I think November, sometime in November status, just the status to make sure that diversion is, has been completed or,
Our status calendar is on November 3rd at 9 a.m.
There we go.
Okay.
Judge, I don't know, my understanding is Ariel Plaza was going to be on Zoom, but either way, Ms. Rosenhoover has had good contact with the individual and like, as I stated, was accepting the diversion and
Okay.
we're accepting it.
On November 3rd, please make sure that either Ms. Rosenhoover or someone from your office gives us an update of the progress on diversion.
Absolutely,
Okay,
Judge.
thank you.
And the last case that Ms. Rosenhoover has is position number 25, Anthony Smith. Judge, we're requesting a final plea date. Ms. Rosenhoover was served with videoandevidence.com, but she cannot access them. She apparently sent an email to whoever the ASG, but I think by the final plea date, we should have hopefully a resolution on the case.
Okay, is Mr. Smith on, Anthony Smith, are you on Zoom?
Yes, ma'am, I'm here.
Okay, thank you. Your attorney is Sarah Rosenhoover. Your next court date is November 3rd at 1:30 p.m. You need to appear in person.
Okay.
And Your Honor, I do see Ariel Plaza on, if she can be excused, Judge, that's position number 19. I just, she can be.
Yeah,
she can-
Ms. Plaza, you're free to go. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Mr. Gaither, who's your client?
Oh, good morning, Judge. I have, let me call again for number 3, Darius Culbreth. Is
Darius
Culbreth?
Culbreth, are you in the courtroom? Darius Culbreth, are you on Zoom?
Okay, well,
All
let
right.
me keep moving, Judge.
State is going to request a bench warrant on Mr. Culbreth, Your Honor.
Response, Mr. Gaither?
I understand the state's position. All I'm asking, let me have an opportunity to give him a call once we finish the calling of the calendar.
Okay, I'm granting the bench warrant, so until it's signed, hopefully you'll respond.
Understood.
Bench warrant for $500 surety. Your next client, Mr. Gaither?
It is Mr. Nigel Folks. He's present in court, Judge, positions 6, 7, and 8.
You can have a seat, Mr. Folks. Thank you very much for
Okay.
being here. You was here super early, so thank you.
Ms. Githier and I are in discussions on these 3 cases, but it's nothing that we're going to be able to resolve today. And we are working together. We're in discussion. So we just asked this case gets placed on the final plea calendar.
Is there anything you're still anticipating from the prosecution?
Yes, there's a few issues on the prosecution side, like there's one case in particular that for whatever reason, she's not able to even pull it up on her side. We all can pull it up on Odyssey, but she can't pull it up. And then there are some technical issues between me and my client where the videos I do have, I got to get with him to see why is he not able to open them up. So we have a few moving parts going on, Judge.
Well, hopefully you all get that resolved, reset to a final plea calendar, November 3rd at 1:30 p.m. This will be a 1:30 p.m. calendar, Mr. Foltz, and you will need to appear in person, okay? You have all the contact information with your attorney?
Yes.
All right, so hopefully you'll be able to work out those little glitches and we'll have a decision on November 3rd. Thank you.
Judge.
You're free to go, Mr. Folks. Your next client, Mr. Gator?
My next client, Judge, is, on this calendar, it is number 29, Miss Jacqueline Truitt. This is the case, Judge, where what I have done, this is the referral to mental health court. I have already submitted an ex parte evaluation with an order to file under seal and a mental health packet that I had in my possession that I attached as an attachment, just waiting to get a response back.
Reset to November 3rd status calendar at 9 a.m.
Okay.
On MH acceptance, okay? MHC acceptance. Any other cases on the status?
That's all I have on the status, Judge.
All right, let me just address those who on status who have not been called.
Well, Judge, could I?
Oh, I'm sorry, Ms. Helen, you had one, you had a case on status, right?
I did, Judge. I actually have Mr. Rico Rowland, position number 23. I believe he's present in the courtroom, Judge.
All right, yes, he is. And I have the plea paperwork, so we can address Mr. Rowland's plea this morning.
And whenever the court's ready, we are prepared for that. And then I also have position 15, Angelina Nava. Judge, I wanted to see if she was on Zoom or appeared in person. Judge,
she's in the courtroom.
If I could have Mr. Haddad just get her contact number. Judge, I just want to announce pretrial in that case.
Okay. Ms. Nava, do you speak English? All right, and may you please come forward to the attorney. I was going to say in the gray suit, but they're both in gray suits. So the gentleman with the beard, and they both have beards. Okay. Striking out here.
And you can't say the bald one because, well, I'm completely bald. So.
All right, Miss Helen, Mr. Haddad's getting the information and he will send it to you.
And thank you, Judge. Actually, those were the two cases that I have on this morning's calendar. I know that there was an add-on calendar for Miss Garrett, but Your Honor, Miss Garrett's additional case is on the 1:30 p.m. show cause calendar. I was under the impression they'd all be heard together, at least on the same time calendar. Can we have those three add-ons added to the 1:30 p.m.
Who's the prosecutor in this matter?
That is me, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Githia, will you be available at 1:30?
Yes, I will.
Okay, so all these matters are going to be reset to 1:30 p.m. today.
Thank you so much, Judge.
Okay. All right. Jasmine Dewberry. Jasmine Dewberry is not present.
Your Honor, her case was dismissed August 23rd.
Oh,
She
okay.
successfully completed diversion.
Excellent.
And the no pros order was signed.
Okay. August 23rd, yes. Position 6 is Nigel Fuchs. We've already addressed that.
Yeah, his case was 6, 7, and 8, Judge. My
Okay.
apologies.
Estefany Gutierrez.
Your Honor, she is
Present, yes.
She indicated the last time that she was going to retain an attorney, Judge. That's the only notes I have, so.
Ms. Gutierrez, where's your attorney? You're gonna represent yourself? All right, and who's the prosecutor? Ms. Githia, is that you?
I do apologize, Your Honor. What position was that?
Position 9, Estefany Gutierrez.
That is
She's
mine.
appearing self-represented, okay.
That is mine.
Do you have a phone number, Ms. Gutierrez? Maybe have it so that counsel can call you to pre-trial the case? Yes. 470-265-3980. All right, if you'd like to have a seat, we're going to have Ms. Githia pre-try the case with you. That's position 9. Alexis Hall. Alexis Hall. Yes, Ms. Hall, good morning. Who's your attorney?
I don't have one.
And have you applied with the Public Defender's Office?
No.
All right. We have Mr. Haddad and Mr. Gaither who are seated up front, and you can speak with them to see if you qualify. And if you do, they'll represent you if you choose to have them. Otherwise, you'll need to hire a private attorney or you represent yourself. Would you like to talk to them?
Yes.
Okay. Angelina Nava, I think I called that case.
You did, Judge. That'll be my case. I'm pre-trying that.
All right. That's a pre-trial, position 15. Okay. Elizabeth Randall. Elizabeth Randall.
I apologize. That is Larry Korn's case, Judge.
Okay.
Ms. Randall has, I think the parties have approached before. She's got mental health issues. If I can check my email real quick to see what the announcement is. I think they're waiting to transfer to mental health court, but let me just double check on her.
All right. I don't, Elizabeth Randall, are you on Zoom?
She's been here several times. She usually
Yeah.
comes in person, Judge.
I just have a couple of people who, I'm not sure who they are. Like I've got an iPhone too. That's what I was asking. Miss Plaza, you're free to go unless you have a question for the court or your attorney.
I don't have a question. I just didn't hear anything prior to when you said I was free to go.
Your case is reset to November 3rd.
Okay.
At the status calendar, which is at 9 a.m.
Okay.
To determine if you have ongoing compliance with the diversion program.
Okay. Thank you, Judge.
All right, you're free to go. All right, Mr. Haddad, I will wait on a report on Elizabeth Randall. Position 21, Daquan Reed Hayes. Daquan Reed Hayes. I have an iPhone too. Daquan, last name is Reed, R-E-I-D, hyphenated Hayes, H-A-Y-E-S. All right, this is a not present.
Your Honor, say would request a bench warrant.
Right, is granted. It's going to be a $1,500 surety, 1,000 on the battery and 500 on the obstruction. Kyle Smith, I believe that's going to be a plea, and yeah, we're going to take that up. I'm almost done. Rashad, is it Rashad Strand? Rashad Strand, position 27. Rashad
How you
Strand.
doing? I'm here.
All right, he's Mr. iPhone 2. Mr. Glanville, we can go ahead and amend that name. And who's your attorney, Mr. Strand?
They was supposed to he told me I had I wasn't approved for a public defender. He told
So
me I had
you did not qualify and you have to hire your own attorney? Is that what they told you?
yes, ma'am. But
And have you? Why don't
huh?
you sit up straight so I can see you properly? Thank you.
Okay,
There
I'm
we go.
sorry. Yes, ma'am. But I had lost my job, so I wasn't able to hire an attorney.
Okay. I'm going to reset your case to a final plea calendar. You will have to appear in court in person on November 3rd
Okay.
at
Would
1:30 p.m.
1:30 p.m.
This
Okay.
is in person, not Zoom.
Okay. Would I be able to have
You would need to bring your either between now and November 3rd, you would need to contact the Public Defender's Office and give them an update on your situation and see if you qualify for public defense.
Okay.
All right. Their offices are located right here at once
Your
36.
Honor, I can help a little bit. What I can do, I can drop him an application in the chat for him.
Okay, Mr. Strand, Mr. Frank Gaither, who's with the Public Defender's Office, is going to communicate with you through the chat. So if you can please mute.
Okay. Would I be able to, would he be able to email it to me, or how would that work?
Which email? I can do that too, whichever one you want.
Give me your phone number.
It's 678-368-3541.
3541.
Yes, ma'am.
678-368-3541. All right,
Yes, ma'am.
remain on Zoom, mute your screen, and you can stop your video if you want. Mr. Gaither is going to give you a call, and then he'll get your email address and everything and send you the documents. And then Mr. Gaither will give me an update of your case. So, but make sure you keep the November 3rd, 1:30 p.m. date open as well.
Okay, so do
All
I,
right? You are
stay
not free
online?
to leave. You got to wait till Mr. Gaither calls you.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Before he goes, let me ask this, just a technical question. Mr. Strand, are you attending Zoom right now using your phone?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Your Honor, may he log off so I can go give him a call?
Yeah.
Okay,
All right.
Mr. Strand, go ahead and log off. I'm ready to call you.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Yes, Mr. Haddad.
Judge, I do have one additional announcement on going back to position number 20, Elizabeth Randall. So the Mr. Korn had submitted a mental health evaluation because I think that there's a issue. It was signed and sealed on the August 4th, and that's what we're waiting on. So the evaluation.
Okay. I'm going to read August 4th.
That's when it was.
Plenty of time. Yeah. We're going to reset it to November 3rd at at 9 a.m. status calendar.
Thank you, Judge.
And this is going to be for the MH determination. Okay?
Thank you, Judge.
MH evaluation. Okay. All right. Is there anyone in the courtroom whose name I did not call? Sir, have you been addressed?
Yeah.
The one in the, what's your name?
Rodney Langford. I can't even hear it.
What's your name?
Rodney Langford. Rodney Langford. I think he's on the 1:30.
1:30 calendar. Okay, well, you're free to stay, but I have to deal with you at 1:30. Okay, is there anyone on Zoom whose name I did not call? Okay. All right, Mr. Rodriguez, I don't have the plea paperwork for your client. Oh, there it is. Okay. That's okay. Okay, not a problem.
Someone give it to you, Judge?
It's just got handed to me, so.
Okay.
Okay, this is position 26 on our status calendar, State versus Kyle Ryan Smith, who is present on Zoom along with his counsel, Mr. Carlos Rodriguez. This case is 21 CR 002649A. Mr. Smith, you have a right to remain silent. Anything you choose to say about the facts of the case, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney, and your counsel is Mr. Rodriguez. This is going to be a negotiated plea hearing. You were originally accused of speeding, DUI, driving under the influence of alcohol, less safe, and reckless driving. As I understand it, the plea is going to move forward with the speeding and the reckless driving charges only. So what is the status of the DUI? Is it going to be null prost?
That is correct, Judge. I'll
Okay.
put that to the court.
So the DUI charge will be null prost. Mr. Smith, for purposes of this hearing, could you please unmute and raise your right hand to be placed under oath?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
That's correct.
Thank you. Ms. Waldrop, what are the terms of the offer?
Yes, Judge, on the speeding charge, count one, the negotiated sentence is for $250 fine. And on the reckless driving, count three, the parties have come to an agreement of 12 months to serve, 24 hours, credit for time served of 1 day, balance probated, for the defendant to pay a $300 fine, complete 40 hours of community service, risk reduction, and alcohol and drug evaluation and any treatment deemed necessary, as well as a victim impact panel.
Mr. Rodriguez, did you hear those terms?
Ma'am.
Mr. Smith, did you hear the terms?
Yes, I did.
Mr. Rodriguez, does your client accept these terms, and do you stipulate to the factual basis, venue, and ID for the charges of reckless driving and speeding?
Mr. Smith does, and we so stipulate.
Thank you. Mr. Smith, have you consumed any medication or alcohol recently?
No.
And have you understood the proceedings so far?
Yes.
Are you satisfied with your attorney's services?
Yes.
Is anyone forcing you or inducing you to take a plea offer today?
No.
And has it been explained to you that pleading guilty to these two charges will result in points being added to your driving history?
Yes.
And also, has it been explained to you that if I accept your plea, that I would also have to be convinced that you are giving up your constitutional right to a trial, whether it's before a judge or a jury? You're giving up your right to have the assistance of counsel, to come back to court to confront your accuser, examine witnesses, challenge the evidence brought against you, and have the state try to prove the original charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Yes.
How do you plead to one count of reckless driving?
Guilty.
How do you plead to one count of speeding?
Guilty.
Do we have the speed specifics? How many, what's the speed in what zone?
Yes, Judge, this was 85 in a 65 mile per hour zone.
Repeat that again.
It was 85 miles per hour in a 65 mile per hour zone.
85 and a 65.
Yes, Judge.
Mr. Rodriguez, you do realize this is a super speeder violation?
Judge, and I've advised Mr. Smith as such.
Okay. Mr. Smith, you've just pled guilty to a 85 and a 65 miles per hour speeding violation. Do you understand that's a super speeder violation?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
And I've advised Mr. Smith that he needs to pay that super speeder administrative fee, which is separate and apart from the fine, that must be paid within 90 days.
All right, thank you. So on the speeding conviction, as Mr. Rodriguez has indicated, it is a $250 fine payable to the court. And then there will be a separate fine imposed by the Department of Driver Services that will be mailed to Mr. Smith. And Mr. Smith, please be aware that that fine has to be paid within the 3 months of being sent the notice.
Okay.
And failure to do so can result in immediate license suspension.
Okay.
Okay.
And I'm guessing was that I'll get a notification of all this documentation of like where to pay and everything?
The Department of Driver Services sends the notice out to the address that they have on file, which would be your driver's license. If you have changed your address, it would be your burden to make sure that the Department of Driver Services has your correct mailing address.
Okay.
All right?
Yep.
Oh.
My dog is barking in the background. Sorry about that.
All right, wasn't sure. Okay, thank you. All right, on the reckless driving, the sentence is 12 months to serve 1 day, credit for time served 1 day. There's no jail time required on this, additional jail time required. Your rest of the 11 months and 29 days will be placed on probation. You will report to the probation office, which is located at 132 Mitchell Street in downtown Atlanta. You will report to the office before 3 p.m. next Thursday, September 14th, 2023. Once you report to probation, a probation case will be created and then you will report every month thereafter. Your requirements for probation would be to pay the $300 fine, to complete, and that sound is construction going on upstairs. Okay, sorry about that. You need to complete 40 hours of voluntary community service at any nonprofit agency. You can do it at any nonprofit agency that's designated a 501c by the tax code. And it cannot be a school, and it cannot be a religious organization like a church. You're to complete a risk reduction program. You're to complete an alcohol and drug evaluation by a qualified healthcare provider and submit yourself to any treatment that's required. You're also to attend one victim impact panel that will be administered by the probation office. Any questions, Mr. Rodriguez?
Judge, Mr. Smith has completed all the required special conditions. I provided proof to the state with the exception of payment of the fine.
May I know which ones they are?
Yes, he's completed the risk reduction, the 40 hours of community service, the alcohol and drug evaluation. There was no treatment recommended, and the victim impact panel. He did it through Mothers Against Drunk Driving.
Okay. And so he's left with the fine and the $250 fine and the $300 fine. Is that correct?
That's right.
Okay.
So, I understand that he'll need to report in person initially next week. I would ask that Your Honor allow his probation to go non-reporting upon payment of the fine and satisfactorily providing that documentation to probation.
Any objection, Ms. Waldrop?
Your Honor, I don't see any note about that being negotiated. However, I'm not going to object. This was a first arrest and it sounds like he's completed everything. So.
All right. He'll have to report to the first time. He needs to provide, he can pay the fine anytime between now and when he reports to probation next Thursday. He'll need to provide the letter from the nonprofit agency, which has the letterhead and the signature of the supervisor indicating that he's completed at least 40 hours. We'll need the certificates for the risk reduction. We'll need the letter or the confirmation from the alcohol and drug evaluator that such an evaluation has been completed and no further treatments required, and as well as the MAD certificate. Okay. And if those are all provided to probation at his first visit, then his probation will be non-reporting, provided he also brings the receipts that the fines have been paid. And the fines need to be paid in the court registry or the treasury at 185 Central Avenue. They'll probably need to get the invoices from the state court clerk's office, which is located in the 136 Price Street building.
So he'll need to make that payment in person?
Yeah.
Okay.
Any questions, Mr. Rodriguez?
No, ma'am. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, folks.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
I am sorry. One question. Will the clerk or admin send us an email with all the sentence signed by Your Honor?
The disposition will be filed with the court. You should be able to retrieve it by Odyssey. Is that how you get, you review the case file?
No, I was sent everything via email, but
Okay.
but that's fine.
All right. Miss Brandy Bolton? Miss Brandy Bolton will contact you, Mr. Rodriguez. Do you have his email? It's also on the Zoom. All right. Thank you, Mr. Rodriguez. Miss Bolton has your email, so she should be able to send it to you. Okay.
Great. Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you, Ms. Bolton.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Smith. You're free to go.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And Judge, I do have some announcement whenever the court's ready.
Okay, give me a moment. Position 16, I have a plea for Mr. Larry Nguyen.
Yes, Your Honor. Ashley Schiavone for Mr. Nguyen. We are ready when the court is ready.
Ms. Githia, Ms. Waldrop, do you all have the plea documents for that case?
Yes, Your Honor, I did resubmit them.
Okay, thank you. Oh. All right, Mr. Randall, here we go for Mr. Smith, both these documents. And, also. Oh, all right. For me, okay, excellent, thank you. All right, Mr. Glanville, if we can add Mr. Nguyen's last name to his Zoom panel, it is Nguyen, please. And Mr. Chabon, I've got your request for the affidavit of first conviction, which I will grant.
Thank you, Judge. I did have some question about how we received that, because I know it needs your signature and it needs a seal. I wasn't sure how that would be returned to us, so he could then take it to DDS.
He has to surrender his driver's license to the clerk's office in exchange for the certificate.
Okay, thank you, Judge.
All right, thank you. All right, we are addressing position number 16, case number 21 CR 0032522A. This is State versus Larry Nguyen. Am I pronouncing your last name correctly, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Nguyen was originally charged with DUI under the influence of alcohol less safe, DUI under the influence of drugs, DUI driving under the influence of alcohol and drugs, failure to yield the right of way to a vehicle, and DUI under the influence of alcohol per se. Mr. Nguyen is present via Zoom along with his counsel, Ms. Ashley Chabon. And Mr. Nguyen, you have a right to remain silent about the facts of the case. Any statements that you make about the facts of the case, your statements can and will be used against you. This is going to be a negotiated plea hearing on one count of DUI less safe, driving under the influence of alcohol less safe. Mr. Nguyen, may I place you under oath?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Thank you. All right, Ms. Waldrop, what are the terms? Are the remaining charges all going to be null cross?
I will tender a null cross, Judge.
Okay, so on the remaining count of DUI, alcohol less safe?
Yes, Judge. The negotiated sentence is for 12 months to serve 1 day, credit for time served of 1 day, balance probated, for the defendant to pay a $300 fine, complete 40 hours of community service, risk reduction, and alcohol and drug evaluation and any treatment deemed necessary, as well as a victim impact panel. Parties have agreed that probation may go non-reporting upon completion.
Ms. Shivani, are those the terms to which your client has agreed? And do you stipulate to the factual basis, venue and ID for DUI?
Those are the terms, Judge, and we stipulate.
All right. And has your client completed any of the conditions so far?
Yes, Your Honor, he's completed all of them, with the exception of paying the fine. He has completed 40 hours of community service at Helping Hands, which is a 501c3 organization, and we have proof of that we have submitted to the state. He's completed his drug and alcohol evaluation. They did not recommend any treatment. This does seem to be an isolated event. We have given proof of that to the solicitor's office. Judge, he completed his risk reduction. We submitted proof of that as well. And he completed his one MAD victim impact panel, and we sent that to the state as well. Judge, I will note this is a negotiated plea. Early on in my conversations with the state, they told me that they intended to null pros the DUI drugs charges. There was no evidence of any drugs in this case. This was a alcohol alone DUI. My client is gainfully employed. He can pay the fine in full. And just listening to the last plea, I think I have an idea of how he needs to do that. Otherwise, Judge, he has completed everything. He's eager to put this behind him, and we would just respectfully ask that you accept the negotiation.
Okay. Well, just an update on the payment, which unfortunately I didn't get to convey to Mr. Rodriguez, or maybe Ms. Bolton can reach out to him and tell him that you can also pay online at fultonstate.org.
Okay, thank you, Judge.
There is a $3.50 processing fee.
Okay.
Right? It's one word, fultonstate.org.
Judge, if he, because we have negotiated non-reporting on compliance, if he were to pay that fine online, what would be the process from there? Would he still need to have a single meeting with probation, or how would
Yes,
that go?
they need to check off all the lists.
Okay.
Unless the state is prepared to do that. Ms. Waltrip,
I apologize, Judge.
are you prepared to check off the list that he has completed all these requirements?
Your Honor, if proof is provided of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to require him to show up at probation next Thursday before 3 p.m. at 132 Mitchell Street.
Okay. I'm sorry, what time was that, Judge? I'm sorry.
And it opens at 9, I think, but he needs to report before 3 p.m.
Okay.
And all he needs to do is bring proof of all these documents and his receipt of proof of payment.
Okay.
And they will, and I'll make a note over here that that probation will be non-reporting upon satisfaction of all conditions.
Thank you, Judge.
And then after that, he will not need to report. His probation fee for that first visit is waived.
Thank you so much, Judge. And then otherwise, he would just need to come down to 185 Central Avenue to the clerk's office to surrender the license in return for the certificate of first conviction. Is that correct?
That would be correct.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, Mr. Nguyen, after that long conversation, may I ask, have you consumed any medication or alcohol recently?
No, Your Honor.
And have you understood the proceedings so far?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you satisfied with your attorney?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is anyone inducing you or forcing you to take this plea today?
No, Your Honor.
And you understand this will be a first and lifetime DUI conviction on your record?
Yes.
And that will add points to your driving history.
Yes.
In addition to that, I'm granting you an affidavit of first conviction. You understand that you will be granted a limited driving privilege, which means that you can only drive on certain, for certain reasons, such as work, medical, church, to go to and fro from work and home. But any other recreational or social reasons, you're not allowed to drive. Do you understand
Yes.
the restrictions on the limited permit?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Your attorney has certainly gone over the waiver of rights. If you decide to plead guilty, you would have to give up your right to go to trial, to be in a court of law with your attorney, to challenge the evidence brought against you, the witnesses who may testify against you, to confront your accuser, present any defenses if you choose to do so, and have the state try to prove the original charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to waive these rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
How do you plead to one count of DUI, driving under the influence of alcohol, less safe?
Yes, Your Honor.
How do you plead?
Guilty.
I accept your guilty plea as the sentence is 12 months to serve 1 day, credit for time served 1 day. You would be on probation to pay the $300 fine, do the risk reduction, 40 hours community service, the alcohol and drug evaluation, the victim impact panel. And since your attorney has indicated you have completed these requirements, you just need to show proof to your first time visit to probation next Thursday at 132 Mitchell Street before 3 p.m. Once the probation officer is satisfied that all these requirements are completed, your probation will be non-reporting. Your first month of probation fees will be waived. And you will need to come down to the clerk's office to surrender your driver's license in order to receive the affidavit of first conviction, which you will then have to submit to the Department of Driver Services in order to get your limited driving permit. Any questions, Ms. Chabon?
No, Your Honor. Thank you so much.
All right. Any questions, Mr. Nguyen?
No, Your Honor.
All right, folks, you all are free to go. Thank you.
You have a good week.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too.
And Judge, could I make a few announcements whenever?
Yes, you may. And just let me write this down before I lose my train of thought. Just 1 second, please. Yes, Ms. Helen, what position number?
For position 15, Ms. Nava, she's present in court, Judge.
Okay.
I received video discovery yesterday on September the 7th, Judge. We just want an opportunity to review that with Ms. Nava. If we could just have a short reset so that we can review that discovery with Ms. Nava. And I think another final plea calendar would be best.
Ms. Nava? Your case is reset to November 3rd at 1:30 p.m. in person. All right. You have your attorney's name and contact information. All right. Please be in contact with them. If you all decide to accept the plea offer or whatever you all negotiate before November 3rd, make sure the documents are signed and sent to the clerk's office prior to the hearing.
Understood, Judge.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Nava. You're free to go. Yes, Mr. Haddad?
Judge, on position number 10, Lexus Hall. She does qualify, Judge. I would respectfully request a reset for a status hearing as opposed to a final plea. This is the first contact. Nothing's been uploaded on Odyssey. And it's one of those cases. It's from 2018, Judge. I think it was on a division courtroom, then transferred here, and that's basically it. So I'm respectfully requesting a status.
Okay. Ms. Hall, your attorney is Mr. Haddad. Yes, you're represented by the Public Defender's Office. You need to be back in court on November 3rd at 9 a.m. And this will be for the status calendar. And of course, if you get information or if there's a plea, we'll take a plea up also at that time.
All right, thank you, Judge.
All right, thank you.
Judge, I have two announcements as well.
Yes, Mr. Gaither?
Position 20, I want to revisit position 27, Mr. Rashad Strand.
Okay, I saw something, yeah.
Mr. Strand, you can turn your video on. I emailed him a copy of the PD application. He's just not able to fill it out, so he's going to have to print it and mail it back. Email it back to me. So what I would like to do, he has a date for November the 3rd that Your Honor has already given him. When he emails me the application, of course, if he qualifies, I'll file the entry of appearance and represent him. But if not, either way, I'll let the court know whether he qualifies or not.
All right. Mr. Strand, you have
Yes,
to come
ma'am.
back to court on November 3rd at 1:30 p.m. That's the final
Okay.
plea calendar, or did you want the status calendar, Mr. Gaither?
For him, yeah, let's make it a status calendar because if he qualifies, yeah, give me a little time to figure out what's going on with his case.
All right, slight change, Mr. Strand.
Okay.
Your case is reset to November 3rd, but it's at 9 a.m.
9 a.m.
in person.
Okay. And will you send me a notice in the mail?
It will come in the mail. It will come by email. If we have your email, you'll get notice just like the way you got this notice.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
Now, on November 3rd, you should have already spoken to the Public Defender's Office and gotten a decision as to whether they can represent you.
Okay.
So November 3rd is about 2 months, less than 2 months away. You have to make that determination before the end of this month.
Okay.
If that means you coming down to the Public Defender's Office and knocking on their door to get a decision, that's what you'll have to do.
Okay.
And then if you don't qualify, you can either hire an attorney or you can do your own research and represent yourself. That's entirely up to you.
Okay.
Please keep in mind that if you represent yourself, you are responsible for understanding the law, how it applies to your particular case, and that any legal decision, you are responsible for how it impacts your situation.
Okay.
So on November 3rd at 9 a.m., you either appear with a public defender, with a hired attorney, private attorney, or you are armed with the knowledge in order to represent yourself.
Okay.
All right, see you
So,
then.
okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anything else, Mr. Gaten?
Yes, Judge, I have an announcement. Ms. Helen, this is going to be related to you. Your client, Ms. Helen, Mr. Rodney Langford, he is on this afternoon's show cause calendar. He's position number 5. Your Honor, he's present in court. He arrived here early this morning, and I told him to have a seat on the front bench, and maybe his case can be addressed versus him coming back at 1:30.
Is Miss Helen representing him?
Yeah, that's what he just told me.
Yes, Judge. I'm looking on Odyssey right now because Mr. Langford's case was on a failure to appear calendar for this afternoon at 1:30 p.m. So I just want to make sure I get the date if we're going to address Mr. Langford.
It's on a show call. It's on this afternoon show cause calendar. He's position number 5.
Yeah. Let me just get to that calendar.
And he just got his times mixed up. He thought he had to be here at 9. So I figured I'll say something. So, you know, maybe if anything could be done, he won't have to come back at 1:30.
Sure. Mr. Gaither, can you get Mr. Langford's number for me?
Sure, absolutely.
Because I saw on Odyssey it was a FTA, but Mr. Gaither is right. It is on for our status calendar at 1:30.
All right. So, no, there's no bench warrant issued, but yeah, Mr. Langford will need to speak to his attorney and decide how he wants to move forward. So.
And Judge, would that be okay to address his case?
Yeah, it'll be okay once I address all the other 9 a.m. cases.
Understood, Judge.
All right, thank you. And who's the prosecutor in this one, Ms. Githia?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so she's here too, so I don't see any prejudice to address it at 9 a.m. All right, so you're gonna give him a call, right?
That's correct, Judge.
I am putting his number in the chat for you, Ms. Helen.
Thank you.
Okay, so I have another plea to address, and that's position 23. In the meantime, position 15 and position 9 wanted to pre-try their cases with the prosecutor. Position 9 is Ms. Gutierrez. Ms. Gutierrez, I gave you that number, right?
Yes, you did. I can call her now. She can step out into the hall.
Okay, Ms. Gutierrez, if you step out in the hall, she'll give you a call. And then the other pre-try case is position 15, which is, that was already addressed. Ms. Angelina Nava, so that's been reset. Okay, okay. So position 16, I have a plea, no, what was it? Position 23, excuse me. Rico Rollin, all right. Sorry, Mr. Rollin, they said, give me more paperwork, and I know what to do with. Mr. Randolph, this is the paperwork from thank you so much. This is State versus Rico, R-I-C-K-O-E, Roland, R-O-L-L-A-N-D, case number 21 CR 004-064F. Mr. Roland is present in the courtroom, and he is represented by counsel, Ms. Catrice Helen, who is appearing at this proceeding virtually. Mr. Roland, do you have any objection to your attorney appearing on screen?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Mr. Rowland, you have a right to remain silent about the facts of the case and in a moment.
Okay.
And any statements you make about the facts of your case, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney and Ms. Helen's representing you. May I place you under oath? Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. You were originally accused of driving under the influence of alcohol, less safe, and reckless driving and speeding from a January 1st, 2020 incident. You and your attorney have negotiated with the prosecutor, and the state is going to move forward with only the DUI less safe and the speeding charges. The state will not cross the reckless driving. Ms. Waldrop?
That is correct, Judge.
All right. So, Ms. Waldrop, what are the terms for these two remaining charges?
Yes, Judge, on the DUI count, the negotiated sentence is for 12 months to serve 24 hours, credit for time served 24 hours, balance probated, for the defendant to pay a $300 fine, complete 40 hours of community service, risk reduction, and alcohol and drug evaluation, and any treatment deemed necessary, as well as one victim impact panel. On the speeding, the negotiated sentence is for an $800 fine or $400 fine and 40 hours of community service.
And Judge,
yep, go ahead.
That is our understanding of the plea. We asked this court to accept that plea as negotiated. We do stipulate to the factual basis, venue, and ID. This is Mr. Rowland's first DUI. We're asking for the affidavit for first-time DUI conviction. He has his license with him, I believe, in preparation to do that paperwork and submit that license.
And Ms. Waldrop, what is the numbers for the speeding charge?
Yes, Your Honor. The defendant was driving at a rate of 97 miles per hour in a 65 mile per hour zone.
Right. So your client understands that this is a super speeder violation?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. In addition to the fine of $800 or the $400 plus community service, the Department of Driver Services will also send you a separate invoice for a $200 penalty. And this will be recorded as a super speeder violation. That penalty must be paid within 90 days of getting the notice. Does the Department of Driver Services have your current mailing address?
Yes, Your Honor.
So the mailing address that you have on your driver's license is the same as where you currently live?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And Mr. Rowland, do you still want to move forward with the super speeder element added to it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. Rowland, have you consumed any medication or alcohol recently?
No.
And have you understood the proceeding so far?
Yes.
And are you satisfied with your attorney, Ms. Helen?
Yes.
Is anyone forcing you or inducing you to take this plea today?
No.
And in their discussions with Ms. Helen, has she explained to you that in order for the plea to move forward, you would have to expressly give up your constitutional right to a trial? You will not have a chance to go back to court to challenge this case in a court of law. You will not be able to have the assistance of counsel to present your own defenses, examine witnesses, challenge the evidence brought against you, confront your accuser, and have the state try to prove the original charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Yes.
And this will be your first DUI conviction lifetime. Would that be correct? Okay. How do you plead to the DUI driving under the influence of alcohol less safe?
Guilty.
How do you plead to a speeding offense of 97 miles per hour in a 65 mile per hour zone?
Guilty.
Your sentence for the speeding matter is going to be a $800 fine or a $400 fine plus 40 hours community service. Which option would you like to have?
Community service.
So you are selecting the payment of $400 payment of fine plus the 40 hours community service.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so ordered. As you understand, in addition to that, there will be an additional $200 fine that you have to pay directly to the Department of Driver Services. And you will also incur the points on your driving history for a super speeder, which is about 6 points.
Yes, Your Honor.
I will also grant you, moving on, how with regards to the DUI conviction, your sentence is 12 months to serve 1 day, credit for time served 1 day. The remainder of the time will be on probation. You report to probation next Thursday before 3 p.m. And that office is located at 132 Mitchell Street in downtown Atlanta. As part of probation, you will complete the following conditions. You will pay a $300 fine. You will complete an additional 40 hours of community service at any nonprofit agency that's not a school and not a religious organization. So that means together with your speeding, you have a total of 80 hours of community service to complete. You will also attend and complete a risk reduction program, have an alcohol and drug evaluation by a qualified healthcare provider, and submit yourself to any treatment that's required. You will also attend and complete one victim impact panel. How old is this offense now, Roland?
2020,
Okay.
January 2020.
If you complete all these conditions, then your probation will be non-reporting. Okay. Have Ms. Ellen, has your client completed any of these conditions?
No, Judge.
All right. So you will continue to report until the probation officer tells you that all your conditions are satisfied, then your probation may be non-reporting. Make sure you hear your probation officer say that before you stop reporting. All right. I will grant you an affidavit of first conviction. You will have to surrender your driver's license before that affidavit may be provided. You might want, well, you can go ahead, but I still have to get the affidavit to fill out.
Okay.
If you'd like to have a seat and wait, please. Thank you.
Yes.
And thank you, Judge. I'm just gonna give Mr. Langford a call at this time.
Okay, thank you. All right. This is the plea documents for the final. All right, got it? Okay. All right, Ms. Waldrop is not pre-trying any cases. Mr. Haddad, you've got all your announcements. Mr. Gaither is also done. Mr. Rowland, we're just waiting to give you the affidavit of first conviction. And do you, did you fill out the probation information?
I haven't filled out anything.
Okay, hang on. All right, folks, we'll be in recess until one of the attorneys chimes in. Is there anyone else on Zoom who's waiting to be addressed? Mr. Paul Coster? Paul Coster? Koester?
I'm here.
Could you start your video, please?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes. Mr. Coster,
Okay.
your case is at 1:30 p.m.
Yes. Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, I just wanted to be sure that you have to come back on Zoom at 1:30 p.m. You don't have to be here at 9 o'clock, but you're more than welcome to stay and observe.
Well, if you don't mind, since I got it up and running, this is only my second time on Zoom, so I'd just like to leave it on if that's okay.
That's perfectly fine. That's
All right.
perfectly fine.
If I leave the video on, I mean, am I being broadcast or?
Right
because
now you are, yes.
Okay, well, all right. I may, well, the room I'm in needs some cleaning up, and I'm a little embarrassed about that.
Well, I appreciate that, but honestly, that wasn't what I was thinking, but that's perfectly fine.
Okay, all right. Well, if it's all
All
right
right.
with you, I'll just leave it on.
But you can switch off the video and mute yourself, just like you did before.
Okay, so I'll stop the video.
And you can mute your screen. Thank you. There you go, Mr. Randall. Is all done. Okay, we'll be in recess until one of the attorneys chimes in. Thank you.
And Judge, I do have an announcement whenever the court's ready.
Yes, Ms. Helen, on Mr. Langford?
I apologize, Judge. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Thank you, Judge. I do have an announcement for Mr. Langford, who originally was on our show cause 1:30 p.m. calendar, and he's appeared at the 9 a.m. calendar, Judge. I apologize. I have my printer going in the back.
No, I can't hear it, so go ahead.
Our announcement, Judge, is that I have entered in my appearance. I received notice this morning that there are no body worn camera videos in that particular case with Mr. Langford, and that the 911 call has expired. So we are going to request to be put on a jury trial calendar, the next available jury trial calendar for this case. However, before Mr. Langford leaves, I just printed out the accusations. That's what I was trying to print. If Mr. Langford could be informed of the 4 charges that he has been charged with this case, he's under the understanding that there's just 1 charge. So I just want clarification on record and in court what the 4 charges are associated with this case.
Okay. Give me a moment to pull up the case.
Thank you, Judge.
I will arraign the case today, and a case management order will issue.
And I believe Mr. Langford is present in court, Judge.
Yeah, he is. All right. Mr. George, no, excuse me. Yeah, Mr. Rodney Langford, is that correct, sir? This is case number 17 CR 0102. Excuse me, 015025G. Mr. Langford, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say in open court, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney, and your attorney is going to be appointed counsel, Ms. Catrice Helen, with the Public Defender's Office. This is a case involving 4 misdemeanor charges stemming from a May 4th, 2016 incident. Excuse me, 2017 incident.
And you're right, Judge. The accusations say 2016. There is a 2017 somewhere, but you're right, Judge.
So this is a misdemeanor offenses stemming from a May 4th, 2017 incident that flows into May 5th, 2017. So past midnight. Okay. So apparently this events occurred at night on May 4th of 2017. And then by the time, I guess, by the time the DUI charge came into play, it was May 5th, 2017. Do you follow me, sir? Okay. In this particular matter, the state has submitted 4 accusations, 4 charges. And I'm going to read the accusations, all right? In this particular case number, Mr. Langford, the first accusation states that the Solicitor General of Fulton County, Georgia, does hereby charge and accuse Rodney Langford with the offense of failure to maintain lane for that said accused in Fulton County, Georgia, on or about May 4th, 2016, although we know the ticket says 2017, failed to drive a motor vehicle as nearly as practicable entirely within a single lane in violation of Georgia law 40-6-8. This accusation was filed on May 9th, 2017. The second accusation states that against Mr. Rodney Langford states that the prosecutor, Keith Gamage of Fulton County, Georgia, does charge and accuse Rodney Langford with the offense of driving under the influence of alcohol less safe, a misdemeanor, for that said accused in Fulton County, Georgia, on or about May 4th, 2016, drive a moving vehicle while under the influence of alcohol to the extent that it was less safe for such a person to do so in violation of Georgia law 40-6-391A1. Third accusation states that the prosecutor charges and accuses Rodney Langford with the offense of reckless driving, in that a misdemeanor, in that the accused in Fulton County, Georgia, on or about May 4th, 2016, drove a vehicle on the roadway or highway of this state in reckless disregard for the safety of persons or property, and about such roadway or highway in violation of Georgia law 40-6-390. And the fourth accusation charges and accuses Rodney Langford with the offense of DUI, driving under the influence of alcohol and drugs, a misdemeanor for that said accused in Fulton County, Georgia, on or about May 4th, 2016, drove a moving vehicle while under the combined influence of alcohol and drug in violation of Georgia law 40-6-391A4. That was the law. If you just give me a moment, I want to check one other factor in this matter. All right, Mr. Langford was not booked into the Fulton County Jail on these charges.
He did not, Judge. He was booked in Atlanta Detention Center and then was bonded out.
Okay. I'm trying to find the documents with the original tickets.
I believe that's under discovery. I was looking at it myself just now.
And what is the incident date?
I'll pull the tickets up. The ticket, the uniform traffic citation says May 16th.
So May 4th of 2016?
I apologize. It's May 5th of 2016. The citation say May 5th. I can share my screen too if you.
All right. No, I just wanted to be sure. So the citation, the accusations and the tickets are correct. The incident date is from May 2016, but the case was bound over to state court in 2017. Okay, that makes sense now. All right. So Mr. Langford, those are the 4 charges of which you've been accused. And this is the accusations brought by the state court of Fulton County based on the arrest in city of Atlanta. Do you understand, sir? Okay. And you are legally presumed innocent of these 4 charges. Upon your entry of a not guilty plea, the case will be scheduled for a trial. And your attorney has indicated you want a jury trial. Would that be correct? All right. At the time of the trial, the prosecution, that is the Solicitor General's Office of Fulton County, has the complete burden to prove the 4 charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt and to overcome your legal presumption of innocence. If the state does prevail, you could be convicted of 1 or more of these charges and face a penalty of up to $1,000 in fine and or up to a year in prison for each convicted offense. Given this information, how do you plead? All right. This case has been arraigned. I'm signing the case management order today. And Ms. Helen, the litigation in this matter prior to trial will be in accordance with the schedule of the case management order.
Understood, Judge.
All right. So, Mr. Langford, that concludes your appearance for court today. You make sure that your address and your contact information are current with the court at all times. And that if there's a change of address, you come to the clerk's office and let us know, so that when you're sent your summons for a jury trial, you'll not miss it. Any questions? All right, you're free to go.
Thank you, Judge. I believe that's all my cases until 1:30.
Okay, thank you. You're free to go.
Thank you, Judge.
Ms. Githia, any announcements on position 9 and position 15?
For position 9, she has decided, Ms. Gutierrez has decided to take a plea and the plea paperwork has been sent to her. She just had a question regarding like trying to read it on her phone. So I did ask her to reach out to one of the PDs to see if they could just help her to understand how to read it correctly.
She's not here.
She's
Miss
not.
Gutierrez, Estefani Gutierrez? Oh, okay. Oh, you're finishing up the paperwork? Okay, all right.
And
She's in the hallway finishing up the paperwork.
Okay. And as far as position 15, that was rescheduled to November 3rd.
Okay. Okay, so Ms. Gutierrez, it'll just be you, and we'll be waiting on Ms. Gutierrez to send you the DocuSign. And once you've received the documents, please forward that to Mr. Randall, okay?
Okay. Actually, it's going to automatically come to the Orca state Orca email address.
All right, then we'll wait for it. Thank you.
Okay.
We'll be in recess until we get the plea from the Ms. Gutierrez. Thank you.
Mr. Randolph, did you receive the DocuSign yet?
I'm waiting.
We're waiting on the DocuSign documents.
Okay, it's showing that it has been sent on my end. It should have gone through state.worker.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Let's go.
Or you could forward that document to Mr. Randolph as well.
I got it.
We got it. We got it. Thank you.
Ms. Katia, you said you sent it to the state for email? I don't see it.
I can forward it to you. It should automatically go to state.worker, but I can forward it to you.
I have it.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Gutierrez, please. Do we have a document for waiver of counsel? Ms. Gutierrez, if you have a form for the waiver of counsel, that's the only one left for Ms. Gutierrez, Ms. Gutierrez to complete before we move forward.
Okay.
I have the probation form, but I don't have the waiver of counsel.
Yeah. It's- Fine.
I'm going to send an attachment of a plea document. The last page has a waiver. That's what I have. I just sent it to Mr. Randolph.
Thank you.
All you would need is that third page.
Okay. Yeah, we have that. Please make sure she. Oh, Mr. Randall, you sent me Mr. Rollins' paperwork. I'm looking for Miss Gutierrez.
Let's just get you and send it to you, because I didn't see it in state court either. Kevin doesn't
Oh,
see it. I received.
wow.
Just ask her to send it to you directly. Whatever you got, that's, we don't have.
Mhm.
Oh, see.
Ms. Githia,
Yes.
can you send me, let's see,
Could you send Ms. Gutierrez's documents again?
directly to me, Kenneth Randall?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Give me 1 second. I'm trying to. Okay. Let me know if you received it, Mr. Randolph. Did you receive them, Mr. Randolph? Oh, okay, thank you.
Okay, this is State versus Miss Estefany Gutierrez, which is position number 9 on our status Orca calendar for this morning. Ms. Gutierrez is present in court, and counsel for the prosecution is appearing virtually, Ms. Sarita Githia. This is case 21 CR 005102F. Ms. Gutierrez, you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say in open court, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney, and you have chosen instead to represent yourself. You've read through the paragraphs that the court has provided with regards to the responsibilities of a pro se representative, as well as the consequences of representing yourself. Do you have any questions about the waiver of counsel?
No, Your Honor.
And do you freely, knowingly, and voluntarily waive your right to counsel?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. Gutierrez, this is going to be a negotiated plea hearing. In other words, there's been no dispute between you and the prosecution as to the terms that have been offered in exchange for a guilty plea. Would that be correct?
I wanted to ask if, I could get a, if I could get my charge reduced if possible. I am guilty, so I am admitting to that. And I am taking responsibility. However, I have 2 jobs. I don't want this to show in my background. I do care about my record. And I wanted to ask you if, you could just reduce my charge if possible.
Okay. If you're asking me to amend the charge and reduce it, that can only be on the grounds if we have a hearing where we have the witnesses, the officer, the victim, and so forth. And that could be a possibility. Otherwise, this is something that you would have to negotiate with the prosecutor. If you want an opportunity to negotiate with the prosecutor, if you have information from the alleged victim that they accept your remorse, if you have a minimal criminal history record, that's all something that you can negotiate with the prosecutor. You don't have to accept what they're offering at first blush.
Okay.
So
I would like to negotiate. However, I don't have contact with the victim.
Well, you can't have contact with the
Yes.
victim, right?
So I do want to negotiate with the prosecutor. But I'm representing myself because I don't qualify for a public defender. And I do want to negotiate.
All right. Ms. Githia, are you open to Ms. Gutierrez contacting you to try and see if there's a resolution that is more acceptable for both sides? Because I don't think, okay.
I'm sorry, I'm open to that. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I'm open to that.
Okay, y'all can either discuss it between now and 1:30, because my next calendar is at 1:30, or I can reset the case to November 3rd at 1:30 p.m. For you to appear back in court to take a plea on either the original charge or whatever you and Ms. Githia decide at that time.
I would like to get a reset, Your Honor.
To November 3rd?
Yes, please.
Okay. We will hang on to these documents, all right? And Ms. Githia, do you have any objection to a reset to November 3rd?
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, this is at 1:30 p.m. Same place, but 1:30 in the afternoon. And whatever you both decide, please do so prior to November 3rd, so that you go through all this DocuSign documents again. And also one other thing, Ms. Gutierrez, I would recommend that you consult with a private attorney to see what your options are. You have a right to accept the plea. You have a right to a trial. So if you decide to go to trial, either representing yourself or with an attorney, you have a right to challenge the charges brought against you, subpoena witnesses, have a chance to examine and cross-examine witnesses and challenge the evidence brought against you and then leave the decision up to a judge or up to a jury as to what the outcome should be. Keeping in mind that the prosecution has the complete burden to prove the charge against you beyond a reasonable doubt.
Thank you. All right, thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, I'll see you on November 3rd at 1:30 p.m.
Have a nice day.
You
Thank
too.
you.
Thank you.
And Ms. Gutierrez, I do apologize for mispronouncing your name, Gutierrez. If you have my number, you can just give me a call sometime next week, that'll be fine.
Will do. Thank you.
All right, court will be in recess until 1:30 p.m. Thank you. Mr. Ganville, I'm just going to leave this on. Okay,
Yes, ma'am. I'll stop the live stream and pause it.
thank you.